So then, I've heard you say, make reference to both the gender binary as well as speaking specifically of how we see gender in Western culture. So I'd love for you to touch on what exactly does non-binary mean, and how does that relate to Western culture?
So non-binary is basically, it refers to basically any gender identity that isn't within the realm of man or woman, and a lot of people identify with some parts of those two genders, or both together. Some are actually just quite separate in general, and for example, there are some cultures throughout the world where they have never developed that binary of man and woman. They've developed entirely different sort of sets of genders that it's considered socially like norm, or they do have sets of they do have specific meanings. They might have a binary in general, but then there are certain cases where they do recognize that someone's gender identity might be different. And I won't go into defining them here today, just because I'm not qualified to speak on them, so I'm going to try to avoid any racist or colonial issues with that. But it's wonderful. There's a lot of research that can be done today on the internet. So non-binary, there's so many. It's kind of impossible to sort of assess just how many non-binary identities there are out there. It's the list grows every day. Right. Yeah.
What's the definition of binary?
Binary, in reference to gender, the gender binary is, it just means that there are, in that system, there are two genders and only two genders. And so it's a system of either or.
I understand.
Yeah. It's just like a computer binary as we think of it. It's either on or off. So you're either this or that. You're either a man or woman. When in reality, gender is so much more than that. It exists in so many ways that kind of impossible to enumerate. And people are coming up with new terms every day. And it's just a beautiful, like, living, growing thing. And so the important thing is that we all just keep an open mind, and as long as we make sure that we're not stepping into areas where we shouldn't be stepping, in the ways that we have other identities that are not separate, but definitely create certain intersections, if you will, where it would be culturally appropriative to identify as such. But the beautiful thing is that there are so many alternatives. There's so many different ways of identifying outside the binary that I continue to meet people all the time who identify in new ways, and it's just a wonderful experience.
Thank you.
I wanted to just touch on that. I feel like with binary or non-binary, gender non-conforming, when I think of non-binary gender, to me, I think of it can include both masculine and feminine, or it can include none of it. I know individuals who identify as non-binary, and they don't identify with masculine or feminine. They're just who they are. And so I think that's the beauty of the non-binary description is you've got male, female, cis, trans, and then non-binary, non-conforming, and there's, with gender, it's so fluid, and it kind of like ebb and flows, if you will, when it comes to gender. So non-binary to me is, it's a lot of different things. It can be a lot of different things. It can encompass a lot of different things when it comes to non-binary.
Definitely.
Yes. And so then there's also the term agender that gets used in there too, which is, again, A means without gender. There's a really great meme that covers that. It's just like a picture of this rather androgynous looking are you a boy or a girl? And they're just saying no.